Hey guys, and welcome to the latest installation of Cosplaying with Idiots.
Hey! So, we've looked at how to bring down the cost of cosplay, but what about conventions themselves? Well, whilst they can be expensive, we've got a few ways that you can sort of make them a bit more affordable for you.
So, obviously the first expense you're going to come across is going to be the event itself, and there's not much you can do about the price of tickets. However, you could choose to go to a smaller one or go to more local cons to help cut costs. For example, we started to go to Birmingham MCM instead of London MCM because the tickets are half the price.
We also do conventions in our own local towns and cities. They tend to cost less overall for tickets, and if it's close by then you don't have to spend as much on travel or accommodation. So they're also great for meeting other local cosplayers. So I actually moved to Bristol because I met Sarah through a con and sort of did a few more local cons and then ended up with her.
Thanks. If you're desperate to do the big conventions, you could go for one day rather than 2 days or more in order to cut down the ticket price. This will also help to keep down the cost of the accommodation because you're only paying for the one night stay.
There is something known in the community as loser conning, and this is where you don't buy a ticket to the event, you just hang out in the public areas around the building. We actually don't recommend doing this in general because not only are you not going to get to see the guests or the stalls, you actually don't get to support the event, which tends to be what small cons rely on to make the next event.
And if you're going to do something like that, you might as well just arrange your own meetup and do it separate from a convention, honestly.
Yeah.
Next expense is hotels. As we mentioned, going to local cons or just doing one day of a big con might mean that you don't have to pay for accommodation at all. For example, for us, for Manchester MCM, we just all pile into Mama Mel's house for the weekend. But if you're looking to go further afield, then it's worth looking at budget hotels first. Premier Inn, Travelodge and Ibis tend to be relatively cheap, and because they're big chains, you know that you're going to be getting a reasonable room, which often includes Wi-Fi, irons, kettles and the like included in the price.
Now you might be tempted to squeeze as many people as possible into a hotel room, and whilst getting a family room can work out cheaper, it's not advisable to load more people in than there are beds. So not only do you risk getting kicked out of your room if you're found out, trying to fit more than 4 cosplayers in one room is just a nightmare. You fight for mirrors, there's not enough space for luggage, and there is cosplay just all over every single surface. It's not a good time.
You hate each other.
A little bit.
Websites like hotel.com, booking.com and Trivago can be really helpful in finding a good rate for your rooms, and if there's a group of you, you can always look at booking an apartment together or try Airbnb.
If you're looking to go to cons outside of your town, travel is going to take up another large portion of your budget. You can book trains 3 months in advance, and this tends to be when the best prices are available because you can get super saver tickets. So you can also use rail cards, so you've got like the 25 and under, I think they've brought out a 30 and under now.
I think so, yeah.
Which I can't have. Or there's a 2 together rail card which we've used in the past. Otherwise, if you're looking for cheaper travel, you can check domestic flights or coaches such as Megabus or National Express. You just need to be aware of luggage limitations on those.
I will give it a quick bit of advice here is if you have longer legs, you possibly want to look more at National Express than you do want to look at Megabus. They have better seat room.
Oh, okay.
For anyone who drives, if you're lucky enough to have a travel buddy, sometimes it can be cheaper to travel by car, as you can just split petrol and parking money. Just try not to cram too many folk into the car. You do need space for your suitcases and all of your cosplays.
Yeah, we did sort of Tetra smell into the car at one point for Sunny.
We got her there, didn't we?
We did. Your other big expense is going to be food. If you're going to an event where the food stalls are expensive, like London or Birmingham, then you'll save a lot of money by bringing your own food to snack on, or like a meal deal from the local shop. So just check them for venue details. Usually on the website it will tell you any restrictions. Sometimes you can just bring water in, other times you're not allowed any food in at all, and you don't want to either cram it into your face before the con or have to bin it once you've bought it. So just double check that.
You can also bring easy to make foods like pot noodles or snack pots to have at hotels, as they provide kettles. So even if it's one night, you're not having takeout or eating at a restaurant, so it's going to be cheaper. And if you're staying in an apartment or uni halls, you can also look at cooking your own meals to help save money. In this case, again, have a look at the website, call them even if you need to, because you're not necessarily certain they're going to have any utensils there and you may have to bring your own.
Yeah, like for SunnyCon, I think all the apartments that we're staying in have utensils and things, but when we used to do our con, we actually had to bring our own pots and pans and all sorts, so we had to take that into account when we brought our luggage and all sorts, so
Something to look into.
Yeah. And finally, the biggest drain to your bank account is probably going to be the convention itself. We all love a good shopping spree in the dealer's hall, and there's so much cool stuff to buy. But if you're watching the pennies, the best thing you can do is scout the hall first. Make a note of the stores you want to buy things from, maybe take a business card so you remember, and circle back to them later, because sometimes you might actually find the item you were looking for cheaper at another stall just down the road.
These days, it's so easy to spend on card without thinking about how much you're actually paying out. So keep a close eye on your bank account over the convention. It might actually be worth taking out a set amount in cash each day and try and limit yourself to only what's in your wallet.
Okay, so hopefully this has been some help to you guys starting off in cosplay and conventions. If you have any other tips, leave them in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye!
Bye.
Or coaches such as Megabush and
Megabush.
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery is going on Megabush.